On this week's weekly video fishing forecast, we have a preview of the June edition of the Fisherman magazine. For you anglers who like to fish at night from the surf, I'll show you what's in my surf bag, and Fred has a surf report for us as well. We have the latest on the Dreamboat contest and our correspondents check-in from around the island, all here at the new Fisherman.com.
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
Well, we had a tough holiday weekend, but despite the weather, we still have plenty of reports from around the island. But first, let's check in with News 12 meteorologist Rich Von Ohlen, who has this outlook for the weekend. Rich?
All right, thanks, Matt. Hey, anglers, let's check the weekend forecast coming up. First weekend of June. You can always, of course, check out your favorite sites, favorite apps for weather information. This is a general overview and a heads up on the upcoming weekend. And it can't be any worse than last weekend, right? Boy, that was terrible. This is going to be a nice improvement. I think we're in pretty good shape. Water temps, 50s to near 60, came down a little bit with all the rain, all the cool weather that we've seen. Starting to come up, though. Wave heights much better than last weekend. General 2 to 4. A little bit lumpy at times. There'll be that southwest breeze at night. So if you're going, 20, 30 miles offshore, maybe a little bit of a lump. But, inshore with a westerly breeze, general 2 to 4 in the ocean. 4 to 8's way out to the east. The sound looks terrific. And I think most of the weekend should be fine. Just, again, watch for some of those rollers coming in. There'll be a little lump there with the leftover southwest. Westerly about 5 to 10, 5 to 15 most of Saturday looks good. You get that onshore sea breeze in the afternoon. There's a summer pattern now coming in. So again, late in the evening, you get that little onshore breeze, and then it's a little leftover for the morning. But by midday afternoon, general west-southwest. I think overall, though, we're looking very good for this weekend. High tides for the early morning south shore, mid-morning on the north shore. Temperatures looking better, some 60s east end, but some 70s, 80s more towards the western side, and even warmer on Sunday. So kind of that summery feel is on the way. Let's check the Guru quickly, see what we got going on. There's your Saturday, and this is much better. West-southwest, that looks okay. A little bit of a lump, maybe about 3-4 feet at times, but I think overall better. Sunday looks okay. Again, a little west-southwest, a little onshore in the afternoon. But overall, this is looking a lot better than it was last weekend, unfortunately. But you'll be in good shape. Just be safe. Get out there, catch them up, enjoy, and have a wonderful weekend. Matt, back to you.
Remember, be sure to check out News 12 for the latest weather before you head out on the water. So if you're going to hit the surf at night and you want to know what to need, check this out. June surf bag breakdown for night fishing. This is what I have in front of me. This is what I use predominantly at night for fishing in the surf in June. Now, June's an important month because in the month of June, you really have a great shot at a fish of a lifetime. Big stripers come into our local area during the month of June, so having the right plugs does make a difference. Now, as you can see right here, most of my plugs are of a yellow color, which is probably one of my favorite colors to fish in the surf. I seem to have had the best luck with yellow. We're going to start over here. I have a darter. Yellow darter, always have to have in a bag. It's a staple. And when I'm fishing like a slow sweeping current, having a yellow darter in my bag really is a deadly plug. It swims very nicely. Taking a lot of fish over this from 30 to 40 pounds. Definitely have one of these in your bag. If you're fishing a little bit heavier current, what I suggest is putting the bottle plug on. So having a bottle plug, this unique lip design on it, keeps that plug in the water a lot better when there's heavier current. It swims better. If you have some heavy surf, put the bottle plug on. Also in my June surf bag breakdown, I do like to have minnow style plugs. This includes an SP minnow, a mag darter, I have some red fins, and I have a bomber in here. These plugs, they catch just as many fish as the darter and bottle plug. Sometimes the fish can be keyed in on these plugs. What I like to do is on a lot of these plugs though is upgrade the hooks. So on the SP minnow, the mag darter, the bombers, and the red fins, actually all of them, I do like to step up the size of the hooks on them. Go up one size after, put like a 4X hook on there, just in the event that you do hook into a bigger fish. You don't want to lose that fish. Over here, I have a deep diving metal lip trawler. So this is a pretty unique plug. This is an RM Smith right here. I tuned it. I bent the eye up so it swims deeper. So if you're fishing some really deep water and you notice some bunker around, definitely throw this plug in the water. You will get the interest of a large striped bass, and does a great job of catching them as well. One other plug I just want to mention to you guys that I have in my bag is the Northport bottle darter right here. So this is a unique action as well. It combines the action of the darter and the bottle plug all in one. So it has that back and forth motion. as well as a wiggle side to side. Deadly plug. Caught a lot of nice fish on this as well. Put this in your June surf bag. Now let's check in with Fisherman Senior Editor Fred Golofaro with the Surf Report. Fred.
Hey, thanks, Matt. And first, some updates on beach access. Gilgo is four-wheel drive access is reopened Tuesday after being closed Sunday due to storm erosion. Out at Napeague, the eastern and western sections are closed due to plovers. The center section where the drive-on is, we drive onto the beach, that remains open. And the demo bar, which had been opened halfway to the tip, that's also closed now due to plovers. So those areas will likely not be reopened until possibly early August. And as far as the fishing goes, that hot bluefish action that was spread along basically the whole length of the South Shore all the way out to Montauk, that seems to have quieted down since the storm. There's still fish around, just not in the same numbers and apparently not in the same sizes in most cases either. Matt over at Jones Beach Bait and Tackle, he said, there's definitely a slowdown since the storm the first part of the week. But he did say there's been some blues and bass in the lights on the Jones Beach piers at night. Over in Fire Island, Mike over at Saltwater's Bait and Tackle said the first part of the week's been on the quiet side. I did hit the back of Demo Wednesday morning on the outgoing. It was slow, nothing like it had been, basically the past couple of weeks. But I did manage a bass about 18 pounds. It was a couple of inches over the top of the slot size. And also 3 blues. I was snap jigging using a two-tone green premium bucktail, and that's been the ticket. I've had several nice bass mixed in with blues along that backside of Demo, and that two-tone green seems to be what the bass want. Out in Moriches, the crew from J&J, not hearing much the beginning of the week, other than a few blues in that Moriches area. They also noted the effort's been down since the storm, too. Out in Shinnecock, from Whitewater Outfitters, blues still around, but again, not in the numbers and sizes that they were before the storm. Things were really crazy out there for a while. I mean, just crazy blitzes. Bob Danielson, I spoke to him yesterday. He hit Shinnecock East Monday morning and evening. And he did have blues, but he said they were all small, basically 1 to 3 pounds, nothing like what had been there the previous week. Fisherman managing editor Matt Broderick, he's still been finding some good bass action. He got into a good bass bite on the East End Saturday night using Super Strike bottles. He landed a number of fish in the teens, upper teens, and 20s. He also dropped a really good fish that cut him off on a rock. He did return Sunday, and it was a whole different story. The fish were not there. Out in Montauk, Paul at Paulie's said the storm slowed the fishing, but there's been some blues on the north side, and it looks like the fishing's starting to bounce back. I spoke to Savio Mizzi, who does a lot of the artwork for the Fisherman, well-known artist on the East End. And he was out in his boat, fishing at the elbow out in the rips on Wednesday. And he said the riffs were just loaded with bass of all sizes and tons of bait. He saw and had fish spit up squid, sardines, sand eels, anchovies, whitebait. So lots of life out there, and hopefully some of these fish find their way to the beach. Matt, back to you.
Mike Caruso, publisher of the Fisherman magazine, has this week's Dreamboat and Coastal Kayak Clash contest update. Mike?
Okay, the race is on and we're in full gear now as the competition heats up with the incredible Steigercraft 255 center console boat and many other great prizes from our Dreamboat sponsors. If you're not familiar, the Dreamboat Fishing Challenge is the Fisherman's season-long, region-wide, multi-species point-gathering fishing competition for active subscribers of the Fisherman magazine only. Get all the details on who's eligible, how to enter a fish, the prize information, the official rules, and to subscribe, go to thefisherman.com. Okay, so here's the latest updates for standings as of today, June 2nd, for the 2021 Dreamboat Fishing Challenge. In first place with 26 points, Joseph Yam, his largest fish is his third place 16.5 pound bluefish, but he's also entered two second place fish, a porgy and a sea robin. In second place with 18 points, it's Andreas Brundler. In third place with 15 points, it's Michael Briggs. And in fourth place, it's a previous Dreamboat Grand Prize winner, Dave Wiseman, with 11 points. The fish of the month for May is weakfish, and the largest fish entered this month was from Henry Piacentino, and it's a 7.58 pound fish caught on May 25th. It was weighed in at Chasing Tails Bait and Tackle. Henry wins a fish mount from Global Fish Mounts and an accurate turned star drag reel. In other Dreamboat news, we're starting to see some very, very nice fluke entries. Here's Casey Marachek with a 10.65 pounder weighed in at River's End Tackle for the first place position. And we're also seeing some very large, big, yellow-eyed bluefish entered, like this brute weighed in by Dean Paolella out of Springfield, New Jersey at 18 pounds and 5 ounces. It's, as of now, it is the first place bluefish in the Dreamboat. Okay, so now let's dive into the drama of another contest of ours, the Fisherman's Coastal Kayak Clash Competition, which is sponsored by Hobie Kayaks. All fish in this contest must be caught and entered by kayak anglers. Here are the standings as of today. We have a close race and the action is only going to get hotter. Like the Dreamboat Challenge, subscribers can enter their catch for several inshore species. However, rather than a competition for the heaviest fish, the Coastal Kayak Clash is all about, it's all based on the length of the fish. Okay, so here is the current top three standings positions. In first place, Justin Ulcer he has 9 points, and he has the top sea bass, and second place sea robin, and the second place porgy to give him those 9 points. In second place, Eric Lopez, he has 8 points, and in third place it's Robert Wagner with 5 points. Get in on the action, my fisherman friends. Go to the website, learn how to enter and how to win, but remember you have to be a subscriber, so get out there and good fishing to all.
The June issue of the Fisherman magazine is out now. Check out my article at Targeting Cows from the Surf. John Raguso has a great read on proven tactics on wreck fishing, and Tom Melton writes about fluking in Mauritius Bay. All in the new June issue on newsstands now or in the mail. Tonight is a captain's meeting at Miller's Ale House in Deer Park for the 16th annual Suffolk Anglers Bass Tournament on the Great South Bay. It's a great meeting with lots of prizes. Tonight is the last chance to sign up. For more information, visit SuffolkAnglers.com. Now let's check in with Captain Timothy O'Rourke from Montauk. Tim.
Thank you, Matt. Well, greetings everyone from Montauk this week. As everyone figured out, last weekend was pretty brutal and nasty weather, so not a whole lot of boats got out, but before the blow, Captain Jim Levinson was out there. He had some nice topwater action with some striped bass. I have a picture of his 42-inch fish that he caught on a popping plug. So we're seeing some nice pods of bass pop up occasionally. The regular charter guys, trolling wire, all that stuff are catching, decent amount of schoolie fish, plenty of keepers to put home for their customers. The guys fluking are doing okay. It's a hit or miss thing out here. Either it's good or it's bad. And the other thing is tons of sea bass. So everyone's going to be very excited when sea bass opens up at the end of the month and people will be able to target that. Other than that, I'm fishing the Manhattan Cup this Friday. That's a great charity event for wounded veterans and veterans that need help for PTSD and stuff like that. So I'll have a report of that next week. Other than that, weather's looking good for the weekend, so get on out and do some fishing. Thank you, Matt.
From Sag Harbor, we have Will and Andy. Guys.
Thanks, Matt. Report this week out of Sag Harbor. Weakfish still going strong. Bigger size fish in the 5 to 8 plus pound range, which is great, catching them by the dozen. I've been trying to also capitalize on that topwater bluefish bite. Gators are still around, going strong all the way from Shinnecock to Jessup's, Sag Harbor and Gardner's and beyond. So that's going to be great, and looking forward to that bite KPM.
And we finally got some reports coming in of striped bass around Shelter Island. We got a little on live bait, a little on soft plastics, kind of all over the place before and over the slot. We even got a fish on live bait up to 50 pounds. Really great stuff. And then also kind of tuna. It was better pre-storm last week. Now kind of split up post-storm, a little bit worse. Hopefully they come back though and we'll get a bite going again. So back to you, Matt.
From Shinnecock, let's check in with Mike Dean with all the news on the East End.
Thanks, Matt. Hey, everyone. Well, with the weather over Memorial Day weekend, a little tough getting out there to try to get at them. Surprisingly, though, on Monday, kind of like early afternoon, it was about 3/4 of the way through outgoing. Got a striper, not too bad. I think it was probably just about slot size on a popper in a spot that typically had been for higher water. So it kind of goes to show that, you know, even though you might have a spot that you think's for a specific part of the tide, if you're passing by, and definitely worth giving it a try. So was happy to get into that. Blues are still around, not as thick and not as big a size, but they're still biting. They still seem to like, you know, the end of incoming and a little bit into outgoing. Friend of mine, Don Meyer, has been on them for a couple of weeks now. He had some pretty good luck this afternoon on poppers with them. Just about every other cast, nothing really, like I said, of any size. Fluke bite has improved. Got a report on Friday of last week, some really nice skinny water action in Shinnecock, west of Ponquag Bridge, drifting, you know, the typical bay setup of, you know, high-low bucktail with some gulp on it. So that was definitely cool to hear. In the ocean, no one's really gotten out that I've heard of that's gotten into any kind of fluke or bass action, but soon enough, those bunker pods will be here, and hopefully the bass will cooperate. Off the beach, in terms of surf casting, a couple of small fish here and there, nothing too crazy, mostly on bait, not as much on plugs or bucktails. Porgy bite, from what I've heard for the Peconic, is still on over there. Good weakfish action as well, which means Shinnecock Canal is not a bad place to make a stop and try for some fish as they're moving in and out of there. So a couple of days till the Manhattan Cup. Want to thank everybody that signed up for it, that's going to be participating, and a huge thank you to the Fisherman magazine for their support for this. It's really great. We have 28 veterans that we're going to be taking out. Going to be an awesome day. So thanks very much for that. This weekend, get out there, catch them up, have fun. Back to you, Matt.
From Northport, we have Mark McGowan from Cow Harbor Bait and Tackle.
This is out of control fishing. There's so much stacked up on the ledges. You got to get out there. Wow, dynamite. You know, surfcasters took advantage of this Memorial Day weekend. It was dynamite fishing on some of the beaches with this hard northwest wind. But if you were on the boat, it took a big break on Monday. From Monday through Thursday, this report, presently we have a bass run that you've never seen in quite a while. It's fantastic. We've got many fish that are being safely released over the slot limit, and that's putting you in the 20 right up past the 40-pound mark. And they're just really staging up at particular spots in the ties. You have to get things worked out, but if you do, you are going to be putting in some personal bests, I guarantee you. With that, we've got sand eels hatching right over at the Northport areas, on the outer beaches, Asheroken, right down to Sunken Meadow, Callahan's. Look for the Nessequag River to really light up with these sand eels. There's going to be fluke coming up on the beach. If you're on the boats, you want to start transitioning, moving in shallow. The big news is that these bluefish came in. They're small. They're like 1 pound to 4 pounds, but they're really pushing bait and creating these bait balls. And I think that it's probably going to push out those weakfish. So we'll have to see. Look in the back harbors for those new weakfish. So if you're looking to get out there and hit the bass, this is the time to go. You will not be dissatisfied. Until next week, I bid you peace, tight lines.
From the Fire Island and Great South Bay area, let's check in with Captain Al Lorenzetti.
Hi, Matt. Fire Island report. Kind of tough. We had a terrible weekend, a lot of storms, a lot of east wind. Water temperature dropped by about 7 or 8 degrees, and the fishing really slowed up. I did fish on Tuesday. There's still bluefish around, plenty of them. Had a few short fluke, but, you know, overall things got quiet after that storm, and hopefully with a little bit of decent weather and a couple of warmer days, things will pick up again. The weekend looks a little bit iffy, Friday, Saturday, but Sunday definitely a nice day, a good day for the Suffolk Marine Anglers Bass Tournament. So that's it for this week. Take care, Matt. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
With our Flying Freshwater report, we have Paul McCain from River Bay Outfitters.
Hello, Matt. Well, listen, it's been a great week for me, at least. We did have a lot of cold weather, and we also had a lot of rain. Guess what? that actually helps our spring creeks, puts groundwater up. We get a lot of flows. The rivers are high but fishable, clear, not dirty. It's been pretty good as far as for me. I went out to South Haven Park this past Monday, Memorial Day, had a terrific time. A lot of hatches, caught a lot of native brook trout. Now, as far, I'm also guiding this week. I guided at the Connect Quad. I've been here for the last 2 days. Because of the high water, I decided to try using terrestrials. We had a lot of action on ant patterns. Been really good. My sport, Sean, he caught his first trout on a fly rod. Nice big fat brookie. So it was a terrific 2 days. Now the saltwater guys still catching stripers in the back bays. Water was getting warm, but it cooled down with this colder weather and the rain. And also one of the best years for weakfish we've been seeing in years and years. It's really large weakfish. Also, all my guides are talking about all the fish that are up, starting to get up on the flats with eel, with especially shrimp. So it's a lot of things going on. So until next week, tight lines, everybody.
Let's get the latest from Captree and Jones Beach.
Thanks, Matt. This is Matt Bauer from Jones Beach Bait and Tackle and Captree Bait and Tackle. Starting out with the Captree area, right underneath the Robert Moses Bridge, there's been some pretty solid bluefish action throughout the day, as well as some striped bass coming up here and there. And then off the piers right outside the shop, there's been some guys getting some fluke, as well as people catching blowfish, which is actually some pretty good eating. If you want to catch some blowfish to eat, give it a go. And then for the Jones Beach area, right outside the shop, also right off the piers we got over there's been some solid bluefish action throughout the day, as well as guys catching fluke right off the piers. And this year the biggest fluke off the pier has been 9 pounds, which is a really good sized fish off the piers. There's been some solid fish coming up here and there. If you want to get a big fluke, try out the piers right outside the shop. And also at nighttime, underneath those pier lights, it's been some pretty good action for striped bass if you want to check that out. I also have a YouTube channel called iFishLI. If you want to see some pretty awesome bluefish action, check out my channel for some cool videos. And if you guys are in the area, make sure to stop in one of our shops, Captree Bait and Tackle and Jones Beach Bait and Tackle. And thanks, Matt. Back to you.
From Seaford, we have Rodger Budu.
Hey Matt, how's it going? Reporting for the Jones Inlet area here. No, it's been a while, but happy to report there's plenty of life both inside the bays and on the outside. You know, I've heard of a lot of, well, not a lot, but I've heard of keeper fluke, decent sized fluke being caught in the Reynolds Channel area, you know, around Jones Inlet. And, you know, I had a couple of shorts myself fishing the outside reefs, you know, by McAllister and AB. But nothing really too crazy going on there. Plenty of sea bass action, but you know, because the season's not open, we have to throw them back. Bluefish are just really taking over everything. They're all over the place. It's really, you really got to fish through them. It's that bad, you know, to try and catch. They're eating everything. It seems like they're just really feeding heavily. They're eating clams. They're eating bunker chunks. Anything really. The tins, the shiners. You know, soft plastics, plugs, everything. The bluefish are hammering them. Striped bass are being caught, you know, by the bridges. If you're chumming, you know, the storm just churned everything up. So if you looked in the bay, it's really dirty. But you know, we had a couple of schoolies and you know, lots and lots and lots of bluefish. So you know, there's a lot of action out there to be had, guys. You know, you just got to put in the effort if you're looking for the bass, and you know, everything else you just got to put in the time. But there are fish there. It's a good season so far, and that's all to report for this week. Matt, back to you.
Let's check in with Chris Ludwig. Chris.
Hey, thanks, Matt. What's going on, guys? So this last week we had a pretty good mixed bag of action, starting off with a striped bass cinder worm bite. We pulled fish up into about 28 inches on the gulp worms. I'll maybe correct that down to 25. And I pulled a nicer fish closer to 30 inches, and the no live bait needed little mullet around the worms. That was pretty cool. Moving forward, there were some really nice shark bait sized bluefish around. We were catching them on bucktails and topwater plugs. There was a point earlier in the week where I was throwing a chugging spook at them, and it just got so exhausting with the treble hooks that I switched over to a bucktail. Typical hookup time was about 5 to 8 seconds. So it was a pretty good week, and I hope it continues from here. I'm going to start transitioning to the open beach and see what kind of big creatures show up. Other than that, I hope everyone's been well. Take care, and back to you, Matt.
Here are some nice catches from around the island from our subscribers. Here is Josh Cohen and crew with a nice weakfish catch from the Peconics. And from Shinnecock, Jackick sent in these shots of his wife, Gasa, with a gator blue and a nice 26-inch bass, all during the ebb tide. If you would like to be a part of our weekly video fishing forecast, we are looking for social media savvy anglers for hyperlocal reporting from around the New York Metro and Long Island area. So if you're a captain, tackle shop, or just an avid angler, contact my producer at libayrat@gmail.com. Remember to like our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and tap on the bell to be notified instantly when we post a new video on YouTube. Please support our correspondents by visiting their websites and social media pages. See you right here next week at the Fisherman Weekly Video Fishing Forecast.